is a duck. And so is this, but spelled D-U-K-W, the maker's code for this type of vehicle. Like its smaller brother, it's equally at home on land or water. In fact, as the General Staff once said, the duck is a marvelous bird. Such an ingenious vehicle as this can be put to many uses in modern warfare, and it has already proved its worth on the beaches of Sicily, Anzio, and Normandy, not forgetting the Pacific battlefronts. The duck carries a load of 3 tons, thus making it possible to transport guns, equipment, and stores direct from landing craft ashore. On land, the duck takes everything in its stride, and it has the advantage of being able to negotiate difficult country where most other vehicles would fail. While it's simple to handle, the driver must combine a knowledge of seamanship with a thorough understanding of vehicles. The normal crew of a duck is 2 men, a driver and a spare driver, who work together as a team. Although unorthodox in appearance and amphibian in performance, it's essentially a wheeled vehicle utilizing a standard GMC engine, gearbox, transfer case, and shafts to drive 6 wheels. For water operation, it's equipped with a welded hull, a propeller, and a rudder interconnected with and operated by the normal steering wheel. In general, the driving compartment is not very different from any other. The duck is larger than the standard vehicle, being 31 feet long and 8 feet wide. But as each corner is fitted with a rope fender, it needs 9 feet clearance. It's equipped as a vehicle and as a boat, and many of its parts are known by their nautical name. Let's examine it more closely to follow, as it amounts to follow a leader. One big advantage of line ahead is that not very much room is required laterally, although the obvious is with space for section velocity. It's equipped as a vehicle and as a boat, and many of its parts are known by their nautical name. Let's examine it more closely to follow, as it amounts to follow a leader. One big advantage of line ahead is that not very much room is required laterally, although the obvious disadvantage is the extreme length of the column. If properly spaced, a section will occupy at least 250 yards. While waterborne, it's only possible for duck drivers to communicate with each other by signaling. Morse transmitted by Aldis lamp can be read over great distances and, more important still, can be seen at night, whereas semaphore has the advantage of being read and acknowledged.
In general, air photos of strong shadows indicate what features look like from the ground, thanks to the outlines shown by the shadows. They can, however, be confusing to read. Short shadows throw up the shapes of features in the air and give less ground view information. They are the clearest features. With no shadows, information is restricted.
Must be deflated as required. The correct pressures are soon learnt and can be found on a plate close at hand. Before entering the water, let's look at the stern tube. When afloat, the duck is steered by means of rudder connected to the steering wheel by cables. Hence it moves every time the wheel is turned. The propeller can be driven either independently or together with the wheels through a separate gearbox known as the water propeller transfer case. To engage it, the clutch is put out and the lever then pushed forward. The vehicle can only be driven, however, by engaging the main gear. Bilge caused by or leakage is disposed of by pumps which stop the water propeller shaft. Consequently, they can only be while the water propeller is engaged. Below the drive are the levers controlling the rear, the center, and the left rear bilge compartment, the inlets being opened by raising the lever. It's only possible to drain one compartment at a time. As the duck is amphibious, it can enter the water without any difficulty. But on land, routes depend largely on tire traction. Tires are the 10-ply military type, 1118 inches, and they have to carry 9 tons weight. This picture sets out to show the important role played by ducks in operations. So important that a special section of the beach is allotted to them. As soon as possible after the initial landing, a vehicle park or company lines is established. From here, ducks are detached to a cushion or reserve park from whence they start their daily round of collecting loads from ships and returning with them for offloading. A duck control post is now set up between the cushion and the beach, and every duck must report here to receive orders before continuing its journey out to sea. Sometimes the ships may be as far out to sea as 3 miles, and all landing operations are governed by local conditions. In order to assist duck drivers, an MSV, or steam picket vessel, is anchored in a known position, and from here the ducks are directed to their relative ships with certainty. The normal load for a duck is 2 or 3 slings preloaded on the ship. There are 3 main types of load: ammunition, but each duck may take only one kind at a time, never mixed loads; petrol in jerry cans or 4-gallon returnables, never in flimsies, which should not be accepted. The third load is compo pack, so completing the RASC supply, petrol, ammunition, and supply. Other stores are also carried, including ordnance and RE stores, and in emergency they can and may be called upon to carry almost any piece of equipment. Irrespective of the load, the duck on return to the beach must report to the duck control point. Here the driver reports to the officer in charge the nature of his load. Thus a complete tally is kept of stores brought ashore. Once this is done, the driver is directed to follow the one-way circuit to the dump in the beach maintenance area. Arriving at the specific dump, offloading is begun without delay. In this particular instance, a hog trot is used. This method speeds up the offloading of many types of stores. When a bridgehead is fully established, craneage is brought ashore and is used extensively throughout the whole of the beach maintenance area. Once unloaded, the driver returns direct to the transport park from whence he is called once more to the cushion. At another dump, a roller runway is in operation. This method of unloading is more suitable for smaller and fragile stores, such as Compo Pack. Generally, 1 in 5 ducks is equipped with an A-frame, which is a pair of sheer legs mounted on the stern of the duck, while a lifting power of 30 hundredweight is obtained from the winch. Because the duck is being used as a crane and not in its prime role of an amphibian, this method of unloading is only used in cases of emergency. After unloading is completed, empty slings are placed in the ducks, ready for handing over to the ships on the next trip. Back at the transport park, empty ducks are parked until called to proceed to the cushion, where a reserve of vehicles is always standing by. In order to obtain a complete picture of this sequence, here it is laid out in diagrammatic form. Here are the sea, the beach, and the hinterland in which the ducks will operate. This is the beach maintenance area, while below is the duck control post. Out to sea is anchored the MFV. At the bottom of the picture will be seen the large vessels or liberty ships. Close to the water's edge are the coasters. The cushion is seen on the right, and behind it the transport park on the return route from the dumps to the beach. From here, the ducks begin their round. Meanwhile, the dumps are established in the BMA. The ducks proceed from the transport park to the cushion, which must be kept at a constant level, and thence to the duck control post. From here, they continue to the MFB, where they receive exact directions to find the requisite ship. They then proceed to their destination and receive their load of stores. In the meantime, a second and a third duck are calling at coasters to collect their respective loads. Notice that on the way back, they all call at the duck control post before continuing along the one-way circuit to the dumps, where they unload by methods already shown. Once offloaded, they return to the transport park, where they await further orders. Ducks leaving the cushion are replaced by others from the transport park. As the battlefront advances, so the supply points are re-established further from the beach. The ducks are required at the beachhead, and the longer journeys to the advancing lines are now made by road vehicles. So a transshipment area is set up, as well as the BMA. Here, cranes transship loads from the ducks to lorries. These then move out to the Army roadhead, while the empty ducks return as before to the transport park. On occasions, the ducks may be called upon to carry special loads. For instance, evacuation of casualties is a task they can perform with ease. A duck will carry 12 stretchers, 6 on the floor of the hold and 6 across the coamings. These last must be lashed, and then the tarpaulin is rigged. Guns can also be loaded into ducks. A 6-pounder anti-tank gun must be lashed, whereas a 25-pounder has very little clearance and is difficult to load. A jeep, however, is much easier. It's lowered into the hold, and once there, the application of the handbrake ensures that it remains. There's another duck cargo that can be trusted to discharge itself. The duck is not an assault landing craft, but there are occasions when it's necessary to bring men ashore dry shod. But this doesn't mean that the duck is to be used as a ferry boat or for sightseeing tours. The Duck plays an all-important part in landing operation. Complete cooperation will ensure a steady flow of vital supplies to the advancing armies.